Every man who followed Ifeoma into her mansion never returned home. People noticed it, but no one could explain it. Cars entered her compound at night. By morning, the cars were gone, but the men were never seen again. Phones rang without answers. Families waited. Silence followed. Ifeoma was not always rich. She was once a woman who believed patience could save her. That belief died slowly. Bills waited for no one. Hunger made her thin. Shame became easier to carry than hope. When she lost her job and her rent expired, she understood that the world only respected money. She told herself she would do anything to escape poverty. The first man came when she had nothing left. He saw her at a hotel bar. He liked her quiet confidence. He followed her home without asking questions. That night, he never left alive. By morning, Ifeoma found money in her room, neatly arranged, more than she had ever seen before. Fear tried to rise in her heart, but need pushed it down. When the second man died the same way, she stopped pretending it was a mistake. She knew something followed her actions. She knew her body had become a door men entered but never came out of. Still, she continued, men came easily. Especially men who chased women and trusted desire more than wisdom. They paid well. They followed her willingly. And one by one, they disappeared. Money changed everything. Ifeoma moved into a large mansion at the edge of the city. Tall gates. Clean walls. Wide rooms filled with light. From the outside, it looked like a normal home for a successful man. Inside, it was something else entirely. There was a special room in the mansion. Only Ifeoma entered it. Inside were items collected from the men who died. Watches. Rings. Clothes. Names carefully written and kept. Rituals were done there, slowly and carefully, feeding the wealth that never stopped growing, yet, something was missing. Men started becoming careful. Rumors moved quietly. Invitations failed. Desire weakened. The flow of money slowed, and fear returned. That was when Ifeoma went to Baba. Baba lived far away from noise and people. His compound was clean and open. His eyes were sharp, like someone who knew the end of many stories. You want men to forget reason, Baba said calmly. I want money, Ifeoma replied. Her voice was steady. Baba gave her charms. Oils to wear. Words to speak. Rules she must never break. These charms do not force men, Baba warned. They only pull those already weak. Womanizers. Men who cannot say no. That was enough. From that day, Ifeoma became impossible to ignore. Men noticed her everywhere. At events. At lounges. On the road. They felt drawn to her without knowing why. They followed her willingly into the mansion. None returned. The mansion began to change. New rooms appeared finished without workers. Money arrived without explanation. Ifeoma stopped asking questions. She only counted results, but peace never came. At night, she heard movement inside the house. Doors opened by themselves. Items shifted position. Names appeared in the ritual room before she met the men. The house seemed to know what was coming before she did. She tried calling Baba. He did not answer. One evening, a man arrived who did not react to the charms. He looked around the mansion slowly. Studying it, this place is hungry, he said. And hunger never stays satisfied. For the first time in years, Ifeoma felt unsure. That night, she entered the ritual room and found something new written there. She did not remember writing it. Every gift must be repaid. Her heart beat faster. Outside, the gate opened again, slowly, as footsteps entered the compound without invitation. Ifeoma stood still in the center of her bright mansion, holding Boba's charm tightly, realizing that desperation had only opened the door, and whatever had been feeding on her choices was now ready to take its own payment as the footsteps moved closer and closer and the house remained silent, waiting. The footsteps stopped inside the house, but no one knocked. Ifeoma felt her heart beating hard in her chest. The mansion was quiet, too quiet, like it was listening. The lights were still bright, but the air felt heavy. Someone had entered her compound, yet no voice called her name. She held Boba's charm tightly and moved slowly toward the living room. Her steps sounded loud in her ears. When she reached the doorway, she saw him. The man stood calmly, looking around as if he owned the place. He was neatly dressed. His face was plain, but his eyes were not. They were steady and knowing. "You have let this house grow too hungry," he said. Ifeoma swallowed. "Who are you?" "Someone who keeps records." The man replied. The gate behind him closed by itself. Ifeoma noticed it, and fear spread through her body. "I did everything right," she said quickly. "I followed the rules. I paid the price." The man walked further inside without asking permission. "You paid with what was easy. Now the house wants what is hard." That night, Ifeoma did not sleep. She sat in the ritual room until morning. The items on the floor looked different. Some were new. Some had changed position. A list of names lay open, longer than before. She was sure she had not written them. A watch on the floor started ticking by itself. When morning came, men arrived again. They did not act like the others. They did not smile or talk much. They came quietly, like people following instructions. When Ifeoma tried to stop them, her voice failed. The charm on her skin felt hot, like it was burning. By nightfall, more names appeared. She had done nothing. The house had acted on its own. Fear returned fully. Ifeoma called Boba again. This time, he answered. "You were warned," Boba said. "You said the charms only pull weak men," Ifeoma replied. "These ones are different." Boba paused. "The house has learned your desire. It no longer needs you." "I want to stop," Ifeoma said. "Tell me how." "You cannot stop what you fed for so long," Boba replied. "You can only give it what it now expects." The call ended. That evening, the man returned. He sat in the living room, calm and patient, like he had all the time in the world. "The house wants balance," he said. "What does that mean?" Ifeoma asked. "It has taken many," he replied. "Now it wants something closer." Days passed, and the mansion changed more. Rooms appeared where there were none before. Doors opened into spaces she did not recognize. The ritual room grew larger. The list of names filled pages. Sometimes names appeared before any man entered the gate. Ifeoma noticed herself changing too. She still looked the same. But she felt distant. She laughed less. She slept less. Sometimes she forgot what day it was. The house felt closer to her than the outside world. One afternoon, she entered the ritual room and froze. On the floor lay a necklace, her mother's necklace. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Her heart raced. She called her mother immediately. The phone rang and rang. No answer. That night, the man stood near the ritual room again. "The house is patient," he said. "But patience always ends." "I will give it more," Ifeoma said quickly. "More men. More money." The man shook his head. "It no longer wants strangers." The lights grew brighter, almost painful. The walls felt closer. Words began to appear on the wall, clear and bold. "What enters must belong." Ifeoma stepped back. Footsteps echoed again, but this time they came from inside the mansion. Slow. Many. Moving closer, she held the charm tightly, realizing that the house was no longer waiting for visitors, and that the next choice she made would decide whether she remained the one who owned the mansion or became part of it. As the footsteps continued and the house stayed bright, silent, and awake. The moment Ifeoma turned toward the door, she understood the truth. The house had never needed strangers. It only used them to grow strong enough to collect its real payment. Her legs felt heavy. The charm fell from her hand and broke on the floor. Nothing happened. No power returned. Boba's help had ended long ago. The man looked at her with calm eyes. You fed the house with lives, he said. Now it will feed on you. The walls began to change. Not into darkness, but into something tighter. The air felt thick. The ritual room opened wider, pulling her in gently, like it had been waiting all along. Ifeoma tried to scream, but the house swallowed the sound. By morning, the mansion was quiet. Cars still entered sometimes. Lights still came on at night. But Ifeoma was never seen again. Her phone rang until it stopped. Her bank accounts froze. Her name appeared on missing persons list. Inside the mansion, the ritual room remained. On the list of names, the last line was filled completely. Ifeoma. The house stopped growing after that. No new rooms. No new money. No more men disappearing. The hunger was satisfied. Years later, a new woman moved into the mansion. She was poor. Desperate. Tired of being ignored by the world. On her first night, she heard a soft voice in the bright hallway. It sounded familiar. It sounded like Ifeoma. And it whispered, anything for money always has a price.